Welcome to Seaside Engineering and Surveying. In this video, you will be introduced to some important safety policies and procedures here at SEAS. These policies were developed and are enforced to keep all employees safe so they are able to return to their families at the end of the workday. Be prepared to answer questions at the end of this video and feel free to ask your supervisor any questions you may have about our safety policies and procedures. Seaside Engineering and Surveying, LLC, was established in April of 2002. SEAS was founded by 4 professionals with over 60 years of combined engineering and surveying experience. Our work is known throughout the Northeast and Southeast United States. Our business was founded on the relationships we have made over the past 30 years. As a service organization in a business where accuracy and attention to detail is the measure of a superior product, our clients have come to trust and depend on the people they know at SEAS. A few important members of our organization include John Guston, Brad Maynard, Kent Stewart, and Tim Bowden. These 4 gentlemen are the company founders and owners. Other important team members include Chris Gordon, our safety advisor and senior surveyor, Heather Zawulo, our office manager, Laura Garrett, human resources and payroll professional, and Chelsea Howard, fleet and equipment manager. The staff here at SEAS is always available to answer any questions you may have and help you resolve any issues that may arise. Our dedicated team here at SEAS is committed to working safely. We believe 0 injuries can be achieved by having a good plan before beginning your work, being aware of activity hazards associated with your assignment, and proper use of personal protective equipment. SEAS has a strict no drugs and alcohol policy. We encourage all employees to be involved in safety discussion, and our managers are available to address any safety concerns that you may have. We are all responsible for ensuring and maintaining a safe work environment. If you see something that is not safe, bring it to your supervisor's attention. Your supervisor will ensure that you have access to the proper tools and equipment in order to complete your assigned task. You should receive proper training before using any type of equipment or machinery. Crew supervisors are always on the lookout for potential safety hazards. Always report any hazard or at-risk conditions to your supervisor immediately. Make sure to use proper PPE, tools, and equipment for the job. As a SEAS team member, it is also important to keep an eye out for your fellow team members. While working, be aware of your surroundings and focused on your task. If you see something unsafe or a hazard, stop and take action. Everyone at SEAS has the authority, obligation, and responsibility to stop at-risk acts and conditions. Make sure to report all incidents, no matter how small, immediately to your supervisor. This includes injuries, property damage, and environmental incidents. If a medical emergency response is required. If the rescue squad is required, call 911. Be sure to identify yourself and give your exact location and directions to your location. Give the nature of the emergency and the extent of the injury. Stay on the phone until the other person hangs up first. Wait with the victim until help arrives. Contact all supervisors and safety representatives as required. It is not uncommon in surveying work to encounter various types of wildlife. It is important to always be aware of your surroundings and who you share them with. If you encounter snakes or alligators, leave them alone. Alert your coworkers and supervisor of their presence and maintain a safe distance. Insects and plants that can cause skin irritation are another common encounter. If you are allergic to bees, wasps, or other flying insects, be sure to carry any prescribed medicines such as an EpiPen with you at all times. Work carefully to avoid contact with potentially harmful plants. The old saying, "leaves of 3, let it be," is a helpful reminder for identifying poison ivy and oak, but not poison sumac, which usually has clusters of 7 to 13 leaves. Be sure to use a hands-free device when talking on a cell phone and operating any equipment or vehicles. All trucks are equipped with Bluetooth pairing capabilities to make hands-free calling easy. Be sure to pair your device before the start of your trip. Texting while driving is strictly prohibited. Make sure you have the appropriate personal protective equipment for your task or as required by the client. PPE requirements vary by assignment, so check with your supervisor in order to maintain compliance and ensure your safety. Work locations where there is a 6-foot fall hazard will require fall protection equipment in order to ensure your safety. Fall protection training will be provided if you are required to work in such locations. Always inspect your equipment prior to use. 2 lanyards are required in order to maintain 100% tie-off at all times. Slips, trips, and falls are a leading cause of workplace injuries and can often be avoided. Always clean up any wet surfaces or debris on the ground that could pose a slipping or tripping hazard. Exercise extra care when navigating uneven, muddy, or otherwise slippery terrain. Be aware of your surroundings and focused on your task, especially when carrying materials. Proper lifting techniques are important in order to avoid strain or injury. Anytime you have an oversized or overweight item, be sure to get help. Here are a few proper lifting techniques. Stand close with a shoulder width stance. Squat by bending your knees and hips. Pull the load close to you and grip it. Tighten your stomach, lift your head. Lift up with your legs, not your back. Get help or equipment for anything over 50 pounds. While carrying the load, make sure you can see your path and that the path is clear. Take small, stable steps and do not twist your back. Get help with heavy or oversized loads. Our hands are the most used part of our body and therefore more susceptible to injury. Here are a few tips to help you protect your fingers and hands. Always keep your hands clear of pinch points. Never place your hand where you cannot see them. Never use fingers or hands as tools. Only use tools as designed to be used and with the proper guards in place. In the event that you should need to use a fire extinguisher, there are a few important things to remember. Fire extinguishers should be inspected regularly to ensure proper charge. The indicator should be in the green area and the pin should be in place indicating that it is ready for use. Never store a fire extinguisher directly on the ground. Always keep a fire extinguisher nearby when any fueled equipment is being operated. To use the fire extinguisher, pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and use a sweeping motion back and forth to extinguish the flame. PASS, or pass, is an easy way to remember: pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Seatbelts are required for all vehicle occupants at all times. If it comes with a seatbelt, it must be worn. Before operating any equipment, including but not limited to ATVs, chainsaws, or boats, you must receive proper training. Equipment-specific training videos are available as well as supervisor-led on-the-job training. All equipment must be inspected daily to ensure that it is safe for use and properly maintained. A valid driver's license is required to operate any motorized vehicle. Inspect all power tools, extension cords, and rigging prior to each use. Take any damaged or inoperable items out of service until repaired. Fire extinguishers should be inspected regularly to ensure proper charge. If a fire extinguisher has been discharged or is in need of service, please inform your supervisor right away. Always consider all blood or body fluid as potentially infectious and respond accordingly. During any situation, such as a first aid, where you might be exposed, always use proper PPE. Wash your hands with antibacterial soap and properly dispose of any contaminated items. A solution of bleach water should be used to disinfect any surfaces that may have come in contact with body fluids. Be familiar with the proper use and potential safety hazards of any chemicals you may come in contact with. The safety data sheet for each chemical is available to you upon request. You have the right to know and responsibility to ensure proper handling and use of any chemicals. Working outside in the elements poses a potential for weather-related hazards such as heat stress. Heat stress is a result of the body becoming overheated and is characterized by a rapid rise in body temperature and heart rate. When this happens, less blood goes to the muscles, brain, and other vital organs, causing individuals to tire quickly, become less alert, and experience weakness. Additional precautions should be taken based on the increased heat index as illustrated in this table. The higher the heat index, the greater the risk level for heat-related illness. High temperatures, direct sunlight, limited air movement, and physical exertion are a few other factors that increase the risk of heat stress. Certain medications can also affect how your body handles heat, so make sure you talk to your doctor about any prescription medications that you might be taking. It's important to be able to identify the signs of heat stress in order to take proper action. Headache, dizziness, lightheadedness, weakness, confusion, dry, hot skin, upset stomach, and vomiting are common symptoms of heat illness. Tips to avoid heat stress include blocking out direct sunlight, using a fan to circulate air, rest regularly, drink lots of water, wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, and avoid alcohol, caffeinated drinks, and heavy meals while working in the heat. The use of high-visibility safety vests is required anytime you are exposed to traffic, such as driveways, parking lots, or construction sites. Proper signage must also be displayed warning motorists of your presence. Survey crew ahead warning signs shall be placed 1,500 feet prior to the start of all survey work that is on pavement and within 15 feet of the edge of the traveled way. The use of flashing amber lights is another tool used by surveyors to let motorists know that they are working in the area. Always face traffic when working near the road or on the shoulder of highways. If you cannot do this yourself, have a coworker act as lookout. Do not make sudden movements that might confuse a motorist and cause him or her to take evasive action that could result in injury to the motorist as well as to the surveyors. Avoid interrupting traffic as much as possible. A machete is a very useful tool to a surveyor, but proper use is important to avoid injury. Always maintain a safe distance of 10 feet between machete users and others. Chop down and away from your body. Do not hold on to overhead limbs while swinging the blade. When sharpening your machete, always file away from the blade edge. Employees shall be given proper training before being allowed to operate chainsaws. Always wear proper PPE and do not wear any jewelry or excessively loose-fitting clothing. These items could become entangled in the machine's operating parts, resulting in injury. Inspect your equipment prior to each use to assure that all handles and guards are in place and functioning correctly, that all controls function properly, and that the muffler is in good condition. Be sure to fuel only in safe areas and not under conditions conducive to fire, such as near smoking areas or hot engines. Successful completion of a boat safety operator's training course is required prior to the operation of any seized vessel. Smoking is not allowed on board. All personnel in boats shall wear U.S. Coast Guard approved life vests anytime positioned outside of the cabin of the vessel. Make sure to secure all equipment before getting underway. Make sure there is a first aid kit on board prior to your trip. When operating a gas or diesel powered vessel, make sure you have at least one type B1 fire extinguisher with you and use caution when refueling. When waiting is necessary to complete a task, always wear rubber boots to protect against cuts, cold, and water. Work with a buddy. Use a pole to probe for holes in soft ground before proceeding. Limit wading to waist deep in still waters. Chest waders are recommended for this situation. When wearing chest waders, a chest belt shall be worn to prevent the waders from filling if you slip. A life jacket shall also be worn with chest waders. Do not wade in moving water if it is more than mid-thigh high. Construction sites have unique rules and regulations. Be sure to follow all job site and traffic safety rules. Always wear appropriate PPE, hard hat, safety glasses, steel-toe boot, safety vest. Make eye contact with equipment operators to ensure they are aware of your presence when working in the same vicinity. Never walk or stand under a suspended load. Never cross a red barricade tape. Be cautious of potential safety hazards when entering an area barricaded off with yellow caution tape. When working at a construction site, do not enter open trenches or confined spaces without proper training. Always assume all power lines and electrical cords are energized. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, including overhead lines. Familiarize yourself with the site-specific safety plan, including emergency evacuation procedures, and make sure to keep your work area neat. Tropical and local severe weather will be monitored. Your supervisor will inform you of any important weather-related information. Remember, safety is everyone's responsibility. You have a responsibility to yourself, your family, and your coworkers to work safely. We are glad to have you as a member of the SEAS team.